Thanks to SmallRig for sponsoring this video. If I started making videos this year, I would not rush out and grab thousands of dollars worth of video equipment because honestly, some of the best stuff that makes the biggest difference cost under $100. So today I'm breaking down some of my favorite budget upgrades that improve your content quality, starting with this little web camera right here that only costs $18. This is the eMeet C950. It's a 1080p web camera that is probably better than whatever built-in webcam your computer already has, and it's only $18 to get started. Yeah, this camera is not 4K resolution, but most laptops and computers come shipped with like a 720p or a 1080p camera already. That's not very good. So if you want to just instantly improve your video quality for a really affordable price, if you do coaching calls or Zoom calls, or maybe you're a creator and you're a live streamer, or you just create content at a workstation like this, you can get this level of image quality without breaking the bank. And if you're able to spend just a little bit more on a web camera, you can check out this one right here from OBSBot. This is their OBSBot Meet SE. This is also a 1080p web camera. And for most people, 1080p is going to be plenty of resolution. And I think the image quality is a substantial increase in performance here over the first one we showed you. And price point for this is about $60 to $70 for this image quality. So it's an instant improvement over your built-in web camera. And the software that comes with the Meet SE is really robust. So you can adjust a ton of different settings from all of your manual camera settings to color and autofocus. And it really feels more like a professional web camera without that professional price tag. And also this thing is just so tiny and cute. It's only like an inch wide by inch tall, so it's really portable and easy to carry with you on the go. I think either one of these cameras are a great option for beginners who are wanting to increase their video quality without overspending. Now, what if you want a dedicated camera that you can use and travel with, maybe to take photos or even learn video production? Well, this series of cameras right here is called the NEX series from Sony. And this was Sony's first wave of mirrorless cameras that was released over 10 years ago. Now, I'm particularly shooting on the Sony NEX3N, and I got this camera off of eBay for $69. It's crazy that you can get this image quality for so cheap. Now, they actually vary now wildly in price, all the way up to like $200 or $300 for different NEX models. Now, the best place by far to look for these now is going to be on Facebook Marketplace. So if you're in the United States, just scout locally who might be in your city selling an NEX camera. The beauty about the NEX series too are they are a mirrorless camera and they work with any Sony E-mount lens that has ever existed. So you can pair this with way nicer lenses to get even better results. And they're an outstanding photography camera if you want to start taking pictures, or even use this as like a dedicated thumbnail camera for creating YouTube thumbnails. So many different ways you can use a camera like this to get great results. Now, if I glance over here, this is the Sony FX3 with the 24 to 105. So this is like a $5,000 setup versus like a $100 to $200 setup from their NEX line. Pretty wild when you look at the differences in image quality. Yeah, the FX3 looks a lot better, but it's pretty solid over here for only $100. Effectively, all of these NEX cameras use the same 1080p sensors. So you're gonna get very similar video and photo performance out of all of these. There's subtle feature differences between models, but overall, if you can find an affordable NEX series camera, this could be a great starting point to start learning photo and video. Now, another piece of gear that's gonna make your life a lot easier is just making sure you have a good SD card. A really common pain point I see beginners have is they're super confused about why file transfer times take so long, or sometimes clips malfunction and they like don't record and you don't know what happened. I often see that beginners do not purchase good enough SD cards to keep up with these cameras that shoot in 4K resolution and higher frame rates. So this is a pack that's still really affordable. It's the Lexar 128 gigabyte SD cards, but they're rated for V60. This is really important. You want a V60 or a V90 card so that you can record at higher frame rates and resolutions, and they're just more reliable for data transfers. So if you're not using a quality SD card, pick up one just like this and it'll save you a ton of headache. Now, another easy way to improve your videos is with lighting. And obviously right now I've turned off all of my studio lights. I just have my house lights on behind me, which aren't hitting me at all, and this lighting looks awful. But if we add something as simple as this little light right here, this is the SmallRig RM40C. This is a tiny little 40-watt RGB light that you can use to add a splash of color to your scene, or you can actually use it as a key light. So I'll turn it up to only 10% output right here. This is 10% output, and if I put it on myself, this is way too bright, but my favorite way to use these smaller pointed light sources are to bounce them. So this is the light bounced off of my ceiling and my walls, and it's producing this really nice soft lighting look because it's turning my walls into a larger light source than this light would actually be. And it's this is 10% output, it's this bright. It also comes with a couple accessories like this grid right here that just snaps right on via magnets, and now the light is more focused and positioned and it doesn't spill as much on my scene. I can light just myself, which is nice to have that. And then it also comes with a nice little diffuser which I can add, which is really gonna soften up that light and make it not as potent of a light source. And when you add this, you'll have to crank up the intensity just a little bit. I'd say around 70% is a good range. And now I can use that to light myself and it's gonna be a lot softer, or you can bounce that to get even softer light. And then of course you can always switch it to the RGB mode to add a splash of color to your background. You know me, I always like a blue or pink or purple in the background to add a little vibrance to the shot. And you can see this tiny little light covers the entirety of my studio. So for light that's very tiny and portable and does full RGB, this is a great starter option. You do want to be aware there is some fan noise though. If you turn it up to its highest volume, it gets a little bit loud. You can hear it right here. So make sure you keep it far enough away from yourself so you don't hear that fan. Now for this next light, I just adjusted a couple things in my studio, and you can see this little texture over here that looks like the sun is coming through some blinds in my studio and hitting the background. But that is not the case here. It's actually being produced by this really tiny little flashlight style light from SmallRig. This is their RF10C. You can see this tiny little dot in the corner. This is where I've mounted the light on my shelves over there, and it's bouncing straight over it. And I'll kind of tilt the camera so you can see a little bit more what it's doing. It's creating like this window blind effect in the corner of my studio space, which is really cool. Now this light literally looks like a flashlight, and it does have a white color that you can start with, but there's also a few colors you can cycle through if you want to add a little color to your scene. And the light comes with these sort of like textured inserts that all have a different shape and texture. And you can adjust the texture based on any one of like the 20 or 30 texture packs that they have for the light to get a creative look. Now another affordable lighting tool we don't talk about too often on the channel is what's called a lantern. We a lot of times talk about softboxes, which are meant to light one person in a really pleasing way, but lanterns are meant to light larger spaces or multiple people, and they're really helpful for lighting really big spaces. If your interior house lighting is just not appealing, you can pop up a lantern, and now you have this wonderful orb you can add to any sort of Bowens mount light. So any light that has a Bowens mount adapter, the lantern can just snap right onto, and now your light source is going to be massive and large and can light up a whole room. So for this shot right now, I'm using all three of those lights. We have the RM40C as the key light, so that's bouncing on my ceiling, lighting myself. Then I have the RF10C, which is that little flashlight, lighting this background, adding a little sun texture coming through some fake blinds. And to make that make sense, I had to add this light over here using the lantern, which will add a really nice room fill, but also motivate my little effects light over there to make it seem like light is actually coming through the window on this side of the room. And this is sort of the important thing to remember about lighting. Lighting is not just like setting up one or two lights pointing at yourself and thinking your image is gonna look way better. Typically, we like to layer lights that complement each other and do different things to enhance our overall image quality without needing to spend more money on a better camera or lens. Lighting can do a lot of the heavy lifting for you, even if you're using affordable lighting accessories like these ones from SmallRig. And if you ever feel like your colors are off, or like your skin tones are like too yellow or too blue, it could be that your white balance is off. And you can grab a tool like this. So this is from Anwick, and this is called a gray card. And we use these to make sure our colors are proper when recording video. Now some cameras allow you to snap a photo of this or dial in a perfect setting so you balance off of the white card itself, or you can just like hit record on your camera and then make sure that you put this in your frame wherever your key light source is hitting. So typically like right in front of your face or right next to your face is a good spot. And then in your editing software, you can use an eyedropper tool to select the gray card as the white balance. And this is 18% middle gray. It's a very specific color. And then on the other side is pure white, but sometimes this is too bright. So honestly, the better way to do it is to use the gray card side, but sometimes you could use the white side as well. These are only like $11 or $12, and it's a really budget way to make sure your colors are correct. Now shifting gears to a couple affordable audio solutions. First, for anybody who does live streaming or coaching calls or podcasting at a desk workstation, you should look at grabbing yourself an audio interface. These really really help you just improve your audio quality and workflows by being able to use different types of microphones and headphones with different audio setups. This one is the Vocaster 2, and it's by far the best budget audio interface I've found. It typically hovers right around $100 to get started, and you can plug in 2 XLR style microphones, as well as have 2 headphone outputs if you want to listen to your podcast while you're recording with a guest. There's all sorts of other ports and functionality on here, but what's nice is you can run all of your equipment into this audio interface, and then it has a USB-C output as well as a camera output via 3.5. So you can run this right into your computer or your camera to start recording high quality podcast audio and have manual physical control over all of your microphones. When you start getting really serious about podcasting or live streaming, a tool like this is an absolute game changer. Now, the audio that you've been hearing throughout this video is actually this new microphone from SmallRig. It's their S70 lapel microphone system, and it comes in this tiny little carrying case. And it comes with 2 microphones as well as a dedicated camera receiver and a smartphone receiver. So this works with cameras or smartphones, and this kit only costs $90. What I like about these microphones are that since it's a little lapel style system that clips right onto your collar, all of the logos and LED lights are hidden on the inside of your shirt, and then the microphone just rests right on the outside, and it's really understated and simple. And they also have a bunch of silicone covers that are different colors, so you can match whatever outfit you're wearing, you or your guest is wearing for interview work. I know I've talked about hundreds of microphones before, but it's just nice to know what is available and what is new to the market, and this S70 is a really solid option for only about $90 for this full kit. Now, if you're looking for a basic tripod to start recording videos, I definitely look at this right here. This is the SmallRig just smartphone tripod, and it's a really budget-friendly tripod. It's only like $26 for a nice starter tripod, and this works with smartphones in both vertical and horizontal orientation, but it also comes with a nice little 1/4-inch tiltable mount that you could use in theory with, I guess, even smaller point and shoot style cameras or mirrorless cameras. So long as they're not too heavy and you're not rigging them out fully, this could be used for both cameras and smartphones, but it really is designed for you smartphone creators who are just starting to make content on your phone. Now, another unique tripod I actually use all the time is this tiny little tripod right here. This is the SmallRig VT20, and this thing works its way into my production workflow multiple times per month for shooting content on my desktop workstation. Sometimes I don't like to have to set up a full-on tripod on the floor that takes up a bunch of space. And if I'm doing product B-roll on my desk, sometimes it's way easier to set up this little tripod on top of the desk and save myself a bunch of floor space. The legs are also adjustable, so they just twist just like this, and then they extend about a foot or so. So this is perfect for desks that aren't sit-stand desk and you can't adjust the height. You can get a little bit of variance out of this tripod because these legs do extend. It's actually surprisingly heavy duty as well. Despite the tiny little size, I actually rigged up a full-on mirrorless camera with the Elgato prompter mounted to the front of the lens, and this thing held up perfectly fine. So if you wanted to use this as like a tabletop talking head station, you can do that as well. Price for this is only about $50, and I didn't know how much I would use it when I first got it, but I have used this thing a ton, so definitely something worth checking out. And if you're a creator who wants to get really smooth or cinematic looking shots, you could consider purchasing a gimbal like this. This one in particular is the DJI Mobile 7P, and this is our favorite gimbal for smartphone creators. It's packed with a bunch of features, including it has a little collapsible tripod right here at the bottom, so you can mount this on a tabletop desk if you need to. It also has an AI tracker that mounts to the bottom of the gimbal, so you can track yourself for different types of shots. If you're somebody who likes to move around and have your gimbal actually follow you without having to operate it, you can do that with this gimbal. And gimbals are kind of a specialty tool. Not everybody is going to need a gimbal, but if you're somebody who really does not like the handheld shaky look that you get if you're trying to vlog or take video clips, a gimbal is one of the best ways to smooth out those sort of jittery shots and make your videos look more cinematic. Now, some other accessories I cannot live without is first and foremost these. These are called a dummy battery, and what this does is supply your camera with power via an adapter that plugs into the wall. So instead of relying on batteries that you always have to swap out and die after a couple hours, you can run your camera off of continuous wall power using one of these dummy batteries, and these are super affordable. This one from SmallRig is about $36, and not only will it save you from having to swap batteries all the time, it also helps with cameras that are prone to overheating by moving a lot of the heat that's generated by these batteries from the internals of the camera and moving those to the external power source. This is really helpful. If your camera overheats a lot, getting a dummy battery can really help out. I permanently use a dummy battery with my FX30 over here for all of my streaming needs, and it's so nice to never have to worry about battery life. Now, another battery I use all the time are these NPF style batteries. This one is the SmallRig 970 NPF style battery. And what these are used for are multiple use cases. There is actually a USB output, so you can power USB devices, like you can charge a smartphone with this or other USB-C accessories, but also the connectors on the base of this are NPF style. So NPF is used often for powering monitors if you have different types of video production monitors, or even video production lights can often be powered by NPF style batteries. So a battery like this is only about $60 and it can power a variety of video production devices, and it can charge your phone, which is a huge bonus. The last power accessory I'll talk about are these little battery chargers from SmallRig. These are their NPF W50 dual battery chargers, and it actually comes with the batteries as well for only $50. But what's cool about SmallRig is they make these accessories for like any camera style or brand, so you can get different chargers, adapters, and batteries for whatever camera you currently use. These ones I like though because our best selling camera here at Think Media has been the original Sony ZV-E10 forever, and it's still one of our most popular cameras, and these are the batteries that power that camera. And these ones are, to me, as good as the original Sony batteries, but they're a lot more affordable. These charge via USB-C, and there's a nice little button on the front that you can use to check the battery indicator to see what life you have left on those batteries. In the world of cameras, you kind of just have to purchase extra batteries, and these are a nice affordable option that work really well. Now, there are a few rigging accessories I wanted to mention for those times that you need to actually build out your camera or your smartphone a little bit more, depending on different circumstances. But the first one is this little accessory plate from SmallRig. This is a 20-piece hex and screw kit, so it's got different like Allen wrench keys, as well as like a screwdriver to tighten tripod plates, and a bunch of extra tripod screws. If you've ever lost a tripod plate, you know that it can be super frustrating, so this comes with a bunch of those screws. And then there's a bunch of threads to add additional screws and accessories if you'd like. This is actually one of my most used accessories, and if I ever go to an event like a wedding or a concert that I'm filming or one of our Think Media events, we always bring one of these because we use them in so many circumstances. Now, SmallRig also makes camera cages, and these are really helpful if you ever want to rig out your camera with additional accessories that aren't easily adapted to the camera body. So things like lights or different kinds of microphones or different side or top handles so you can hold the camera in a different manner. We often add cages to our cameras so we can also add V-mount batteries to power our camera through a V-mount if we're on like an NAB show floor doing interviews, things like that. Cages come in handy a ton when you adopt more professional video production workflows. So just something to think about. If you have a camera, SmallRig probably has a dedicated cage that works with that camera, but I'll link this one for the Sony A7 series in the description down below. And they actually have these for smartphone creators as well. So if you need to rig out your smartphone, especially if you're somebody who wants to record like on an iPhone in ProRes, you can mount an SSD to like the rear of this smartphone cage and now be recording to SSDs instead of the internal memory of that iPhone. And you can just add different accessories like microphones and lights directly to these cages to use your smartphone in a more professional capacity. So we'll link this one down in the description below. It's only about 60 bucks to get started. And this last little accessory I'll talk about are these little articulating magic arms with these crab clamps. And what these are used for is mounting all kinds of accessories. I often use them to mount to my tripod, and then I'll mount my smartphone for like a BTS angle, or maybe my notes will be listed on the smartphone and I'll just mount that in different positions. I'll also mount these to C-stands to do overhead lighting rigs or top-down rigs, and just add accessories to my C-stands this way. And this is just one example of these different kinds of accessories SmallRig offers for very specific use cases. I have an entire bin of rigging parts that I use from SmallRig and have for the last 10 years being a video production professional. But this magic arm is one of my most used accessories, and it's only about $20. Now, I did mention a couple tripods in this video, but if you want to check out my favorite tripods for every budget level, you can click or tap the screen right here to check out that video, and we'll see you guys in the next one.